world of loss and grief, the people are separated into separate yet equally important groups. The grievers who are sad and heartbroken, and the friends, the family, the concerned who want to fix them. These are their stories. If you know, you know. How many of you, I overheard, want to skip on the grief talk? When that grief girl goes up, that's when I'm going to head out to lunch early. Although most will try to avoid a grieving situation because they feel helpless, like they can't come up with the right words, I help people discover that true healing happens when we offer our presence, not platitudes. Because grief can't be fixed, it must be witnessed. Which is why I have themed my talk today around a courtroom setting. I always wanted to be an attorney growing up. I went to a very small school, and each year we'd have the career day, and I was always drawn to the attorney. We had one. I wanted to be an attorney. I don't really know why. I had the makings of what I thought would be a great attorney. My senior year, I was even awarded the class superlative that would make anyone think, that girl, she's going to be an attorney one day. Yeah, most humorous. Don't those make great attorneys, the most humorous? I was class clown, or attention seeker, you might say. I was quite the talker. I've been talking since a very early age. But I have learned that talking less and listening more can open your life up to more trust, love, influence, and fulfillment to yourself and everyone around you. By the end of my talk today, you are going to learn how to be a witness in the life of a griever, but more importantly, how to be a witness in your own life. Now, my daughter took after me a little bit. She also is kind of the class clown, but she started at a very early age. In the second grade, she told her entire second grade class that she was Hannah Montana's second cousin, because that was more believable, Mom. But she took that creativity and mixed it with some discipline and restraint, which is what it takes to be a witness, restraint. And she is now a criminal defense attorney in Houston, Texas. And people say we're a lot alike, but I don't see it. Now, knowing what my daughter does for a living, and knowing that I love law shows and Law and Order, of course, you've probably already guessed what my parents did for a living. Yeah, farmers. My parents were peanut farmers in Central Texas. Yep, peanut, I smell the sand right now. But we grew more than just peanuts. We had the usual watermelons, cantaloupes, blackberries, black-eyed peas, red tomatoes, white potatoes, sprig and hay crop, slop and hog slop, corn, cattle, chickens, a horse, of course, 3 dogs, 2 cats, 1 rabbit, and a goldfish. I had everything growing up. I had more love than you can imagine. It is not lost on me, the blessing I had of a childhood on the farm in Texas. And even into adulthood, we were all so connected. My mom and I were best friends, texting each other every day. My dad and I would talk on the phone every day. They were my everything. Life was great. Life was beautiful. Life was happy. It was all that I ever wanted or needed. Until one day, it all came crashing down. July 29th, 2019. I was out for the summer. I was a high school teacher. I got a phone call that there'd been an accident on our family farm. When I got to the farm, I learned that my father had accidentally run over my mother with one of our farm tractors, killing her instantly. We had to transition from planning their 50th wedding anniversary to planning Mama's funeral. Over the next 3 years, I would lose my counselor to a sudden death, my husband to infidelity and divorce. And on Father's Day morning, 2022, I went to surprise Daddy with breakfast to find he had taken his life. I'm going to take you, because I know you need a minute. Got Kleenex. I'm going to take you to a moment that changed my thoughts, feelings, ideas on grief forever. It was after Mama's funeral, and we were back at Daddy's house. And it was a house that was suddenly too crowded and too quiet all at once. And everybody was coming up to me. Theo, I just want to tell you, this is what I did when my mom died. And I just want to tell you, and everybody was talking, talk. And it was like that Peanuts cartoon where you hear the teacher, wah, 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 wah. That's all that I heard. So I had to get out, I had to get away. So I retreated into my parents' bedroom, and I sat down on Mama's side of the bed, and it was quiet. And I look up, and my mom's best friend, Patsy, comes into the room. She sits down beside me. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't offer any advice. She just sat with me in the quiet. She just sat with me in the pain. She didn't require that I say anything, but if I did, I knew that I could. It was a safe space. Silence invites safety. Safety creates trust. And it dawned on me in those moments, early in my grief. Now, given the pattern of talkers repeated throughout my grief, but I learned this lesson early on. It's why I'm sharing it with you. That grief doesn't need your words. It needs your presence. Grief doesn't need your words. This should be liberating. You don't have to think of anything. Just show up. Actually, the griever would prefer that you not say anything. I heard the darndest things. What happened to your mom? What are you going to do now about your dad? Well, I know she's in a better place. All things happen for a reason. Wah, 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 wah. So, in my national research study, I heard Roy, this is mine. 65% of grieving Americans feel like they have no one to talk to about the recent grief, loss, or tragedy in their life. No one to talk to. Why is that? It's because we're all talking too much. My daughter says all the time, Mom, my clients just think they can talk the problem away. And what happens when they talk is they talk it worse. I was going to be able to get him off, and all he did was start talking. And then the judge just said, you're guilty. Grief is getting the guilty verdict every day, but the only thing that it is guilty of is love. The more love, the more grief. The more grief, the more witnesses that it needs. I craved a witness. So I'm making you witnesses today for the people out there that are going to need you, or it may be you. So how do we do this? Theo, you're telling me to shut up. I mean, how are we going to do this? We're going to zip it, and I'm going to talk to y'all like I did my high school students. I left that out of the first part of my speech, but I was a high school English teacher. I can spot the shenanigans a mile away. AJ? I came up with half of them, by the way. You're going to zip it. Zip it. Zip it. If your mouth is moving, your ears ain't working. Resist the impulse to fix, compare, advise, or relate. Because the moment that you start talking about you, you take the focus off of them. And the focus needs to stay on them. Immerse. Immerse yourself fully, fearlessly, faithfully in them. Those F words that I talk about in my first book, immerse yourself in them. And then permit. Permit the moment. Allow it to be whatever it will be. Patsy didn't require that I say anything. She permitted the moment. Zip it. I don't have a lot of time today, but I want you to email me. If you know somebody hurting or if you're hurting, I am a certified grief educator, but I just want to have a call with you. I want to send you the other methods that I have that I don't have time to go over today. But please just email me. I could talk to a fence post. So I would just love to talk to people. I could actually do this whole thing without y'all in here at all. I told that to a television anchor one day on air. I said, you don't even have to be here. Sorry. Okay, so grief doesn't need your words. It needs your what? Grief doesn't need your words, it needs your what? Presence. Okay, so, got 4 minutes. My mother was born perfectly healthy. At the age of 18 months, she lost her hearing to a high fever, similar to that of Helen Keller's, but it bore its weight in her ears. She was completely, profoundly deaf. At the age of 10, she was mute all of those years. At the age of 10, my grandparents said, we've got to do something. They sent her to Waco, Texas to live with friends of theirs to go to Alta Vista grade school, where they had an exemplary special education department that taught her how to use her voice box. Sign language was not taught as much in the 50s. So my mother became a beautiful communicator. She got 5% hearing with a hearing device that they gave her, and that's all she had the rest of her life, 5% hearing. But she could read lips. It was so fun at restaurants. They're having a fight. Skipping ahead to March 2018, I took Mama to a women's conference in Dallas. We were going to hear former first ladies, community leaders. We went to Capitol Grill Steakhouse. We had strawberry daiquiris, and then when we left to head to the Opera House, Mama goes, I feel faint. I said, Mama, that was a virgin daiquiri. There was no alcohol in that. So we get to the Opera House, and we're sitting down, and we're about 3/4 of the way back, and it's a room of about 2,500, and I realized there was nothing for the hearing impaired. There were no teleprompters. There was nobody doing sign language, because although Mama didn't use sign language, she could read it. And I was just like, oh no, Mama's not going to be able to hear them. So I turned to my mom and I said, I'm so sorry, you're not going to be able to hear them. And my mom turned to me and she said, it's okay. I'm just happy to be in the room. It's okay. I'm just happy to be in the room. Shame on us that are in the room, but we're not present. Shame on us that can hear perfectly and we're not present in our situations. My mother who was completely, profoundly deaf, my mother who drove me to piano lessons twice a week for 13 years and never heard a note. My mother was the most present person I have or will ever meet. She is the best example I can offer you to witness your life. She was always there for me, always. She witnessed everything around her. Grief doesn't need your words. It needs your presence. The last time I was in the room with Mama, what was so familiar was her presence. What was so familiar was the silence. My sister, my daddy, and I sat with her for hours. And what we were in complete awe of was her spirit and the power of her presence, because she'd always been there for us. And even in her death, she was the most present person I have or will ever meet. I need you to go out and make my mama proud and start witnessing life around you. Start being a witness in your life and in the lives of others, and you will be shocked when you become that friend, that family member, that concerned person that can actually listen. People are going to start to gravitate towards you, and your life is going to open up in ways you never even thought possible. It is shocking what happens when you listen and you're present. In the world of loss and grief, the people are separated, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the grievers who are sad and heartbroken, and the friends, the family, the concerned who listen. These are their stories.
Amazing. Good job. Good job.